Has anyone sacrificed their life for you? Has anyone given their life so that you could live yours? I want to share a story with you. When I was 20 years old, I fell in love for the very first time. I dated this girl for 10 months, and I decided on her birthday the following month I was going to ask her to marry me. Well, we live in Illinois, and at the time, the drinking age up in Wisconsin was only 18 years old, and it was 21 in Illinois. So my girlfriend always wanted to go up to Wisconsin drinking. So one day we were just hanging out in my room, having a good time, listening to music, and I get a call from my best friend Bob, and he asked if we wanted to go up to Wisconsin and do some drinking. So Carol and I that afternoon were just, listening to music, having a good time, and just relaxing. I went up to ask her if she wanted to go, and as soon as I did, the whole vibration of the room changed. It went from bright and happiness to like this dark and dreary and grave feeling that came over us. And I looked at her and she looked at me, and all of a sudden her mood changed, just like a happy face to like really sad and depressed. And I knew at that moment like something was going to happen. I wasn't into vibrations back then, and I didn't understand intuition or anything. It was just kind of like a freak thing, right? Oh, what a weird coincidence. And this thought popped into my head, and it was, do you want to make love to me for the last time? I'm like, what the hell is that? What are you saying? What does that mean? Anyway, we decided to go up. She wanted to go up, and we went up to Wisconsin that night. We had fun. We drank and had a good time, and we decided to come back early because of the bars closing. When the bars close up in Wisconsin, everybody comes back from Illinois, and there's usually a lot of traffic. So we decided to leave early, but when it was the time to go, we looked around and we couldn't find Carol anywhere. Now, we drove my friend's station wagon up there, and on the way up there, we went with another person too, and they sat in the front seat, and I sat in the back behind the passenger or behind the driver, and Carol sat behind the passenger on the way up there. But when it was time to go, we were looking for her everywhere. I even asked a lady to check the restroom, and she wasn't even in there. So I decided to go outside and take a look for her, and I could see her in the distance, by our car. And she was standing by the back seat behind the driver. She had her hand on the handle and her head down. And I can see that image clearly in my mind right now. And that feeling that I had in my bedroom that day came over me again. And I didn't have the courage to say anything about it. So anyway, we started going home, and we're only a few miles from home, and this car pulls up next to us and started revving his engine, right? Like he wants to race us. I mean, my God, we're in a station wagon, right? So anyway, my friend slows down, right? And then this guy slows down, and then Bob speeds up, and then this guy speeds up. And then all of a sudden, this guy swerved over into our lane, and fortunately, my friend saw it and missed him. He got out of the way. And Carol is getting nervous, and check this out. For whatever reason, I said to her, just lay down, honey. Put your head on my leg, and lay down. It's all going to be over in a few minutes. What did that mean? Where did that come from? So anyway, shortly after that, we're going down this 4-lane highway, and this guy swerved over in our lane this time. This time he didn't miss us, and sent us flying over the grassy median and boom, into an oncoming traffic. Well, the next thing I know, somebody's screaming at me, where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? And just kind of laying in the grass there and up at the sky, and I said my back, and then I faded out again. And then the next thing I know, I hear somebody screaming, rods or traction, Robert? Robert, Robert. You want rods in your leg, or you want to be in traction for 6 months? And I go, rods. And then I faded out again. And then a couple days later, I wake up in a hospital room. And I asked the nurse, where are my friends? And she goes, I don't know of any of your friends. I haven't heard. So, okay, I thought, well, maybe she didn't know. Maybe they're in another room or they went home. So I decided to call Carol's house, and her sister answers the phone. And I go, hi, is Carol there? And she starts screaming at me, you murderer! You killed my sister, you murderer! And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And I just kind of freaked out and I hung up the phone. And I'm going, what the hell is that all about, And I'm still foggy, from all of this and the medication and stuff. So I call my mother up and I say, Mom, what's going on? I called Carol's house and her sister said she's dead. And my mom said, just hang on, I'll be there in a few minutes. So my mom got there and I saw her as she entered the room. And she started approaching and she started crying, and I knew something had happened. And I said, where's Carol? She goes, she didn't make it. And, and of course I broke down in tears and started crying. And I go, what about Bob? He goes, he didn't make it either. So it's like I lost two of the people that are very close to me and that I love very much, right? What made it even more difficult for me is that it wasn't like Carol jumped in front of a bullet or pulled me out of a fiery building. It was nothing like that. This was something that was kind of, I'd like to say, set up in the spiritual realm, right? It was like mystical. It was like a preordained destiny. And back then, I didn't understand any of this. And I still today, up until a little while ago, still had a hard time deciphering it. So when you're 19 years old, you feel like you're invincible. But then two of the people that you cherish the most in your life are gone, right? And all of a sudden, it's time to have a wake-up call about what life's all about. So after that, it took me a long time to heal from my injuries. And I was at home and playing victim and feeling sorry for myself. And I think it's been 2 months already, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I had this new prescription of painkillers that I had, and my mom saw me because my door was open, and she's saying, like, what are you doing with all those? And I said, I can't take it anymore, And she went to go grab the bottle from my hand, and we started wrestling with it, And, and I yanked them out of her hand, and she says, go ahead, I can't take this anymore either, because I'm like feeling sorry for myself and being a victim and being guilty, like, why am I still alive? And they're both dead. What am I doing here? My life hasn't been it's been a bunch of problems, I haven't done anything with my life up to then. Why are they not alive? And why am I still here? This doesn't make sense to me. They should be still here. I shouldn't be here. So my mom left, and I decided I was going to kill myself. So what I did is I poured out all the pills into my hand, and I just stared at them. And then I started thinking about what happened. I mean, everything. Like in my room, looking into her eyes, and that feeling coming over me like something bad was going to happen. And wanting to ask her before we left, would you make love to me for the last time? At the restaurant outside, when she's waiting there by the car where I'm supposed to be sitting, with her hand on the handle and her head down. What is really happening here? What is taking place here? And then only to wake up to find out that the girl I wanted to marry is dead. And so is my best friend. So yeah, I would say there's some survivor guilt there because I didn't understand why I was still alive. So I'm looking at these pills and I'm thinking just that. Why am I still alive? Why did she kill herself? Why did she take her own life? Why did she sacrifice herself for me? I mean, what's so special about me? I'm nothing, right? Why did she do that? So I realized at that moment, there must have been a reason, even though I was too enthralled in my self-pity and my victimhood and feeling sorry for myself because I didn't understand things on a higher spiritual level than I do right now. And I realized if I killed myself, that she would die in vain. She would have given her life for me, only for me to take my own life. And that didn't make sense to me. So instead, what I did was I used her death, first of all, to try to figure out why she sacrificed her life for me. And second, as inspiration, understanding, and motivation to try to make it through the times in my life where I went through suffering, hardship, and adversity. So taking that moment of feeling guilty because I survived and inverting that and using it to my advantage. Now, that's not what I was thinking back then, but that's what I'm thinking now, right? I use it as a tool to keep me going through life until I can kind of understand on a deeper level what was happening. See, we go through things in life and we don't understand why they happen to us, especially when we're in it. And I'm in something else right now and I don't quite understand it yet, right? But things need time to unfold sometimes, okay? And sometimes we don't understand, and it's okay. It's okay, all right? So hang in there. Listen, everything happens in life for a reason, right? Most people that I talk to believe that. So if that's true, okay, if that's true, then why isn't this one of those times right now? It is. It is one of those times. I know it's really hard to believe when it gets tough, right? Yeah, we can say everything happens for a reason. If I lose a $20 bill, or if somebody gives me $50, or if my car breaks down, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason. Because of that, something good came out of it. But when we start pushing the envelope, right, and we start talking about real hardship here, maybe getting sick, right, or losing someone you care about, or not having a dream realized, or have the love of our life leave. So we need to understand that these things in our life happen for a reason too. You are not a victim, so get out of your self-pity and start figuring out what you want to do with your life. Listen, this world is not what we think it is, okay? The way they set it up for us makes it really hard for us to figure shit out. So what we need to do is we need to forget about everything that we learned, and we need to go within inside of ourselves, within our heart, okay? Yeah, survivor's guilt is real, okay? But it's only real because we make it real. You can turn that off in a second, okay? And start living your life again. You don't have to be a victim, only if you want to be one. If you want attention and, I'm so sad and all that, that's what I did. I played that card for a long time, man. Played it for a long time. Oh yeah, I got the pity. People felt sorry for me. Oh, it felt good to have that attention, But what did it really do for me, It like constricted my heart, It closed me off to the world, to myself. Why do you want to do that? Especially, what if this was a soul contract, right? The person coming into this life knowing that they had to save your life, they were going to do it. What if they did it just because they loved you so much? Maybe you didn't know the person. Maybe it was an acquaintance from your other life, right? And maybe they did it because they loved you so much. And if they did it because they loved you so much, and they wanted you to live and enjoy life and discover who you really are and your purpose in life, but yet you're repaying them by feeling miserable, about being guilty, about being depressed, and wallowing in your self-pity. Is that gratitude? Is that how you show your appreciation and your thanks for having your life? Is it? Then when are you going to get off your ass and start living your life, okay? Find out why you're still alive. I have a term that I use, and I'm sure you heard it before, and it's a spiritual warrior, right? And what is a spiritual warrior? Well, here's my definition of a spiritual warrior. So before we come into this life, right, we kind of have like a review of what we're going to go through. And it's like, okay, Robert, your life's going to be a little challenging, but because of you, we know how strong you are. We know how tough you are. We know that you have these powers and abilities as a multidimensional being that you'll be able to tap into and overcome any kind of limitation you have in your life. All right? But this is going to be a challenging test for you. So in your life, when you're 5 years old, you're going to almost die of a hernia, a double hernia of operation because of your asthma. When you're 11 years old, your mother is going to try to murder you. And when you're 15, you're a runaway and you live on the streets and you're sexually abused. And then you're going to fall in love for the first time, and we're going to take that away from you too. And we're also going to take away your best friend, so you got nothing. And then we're going to put you in a bunch of terrible car accidents where you get banged up, bruised up, a couple motorcycle accidents and a boat accident. And then we're going to allow you to fall in love again. But then, we're going to, later on in life, after you have all your kids, then we're going to make you homeless. And then eventually you're going to start realizing like who you are. So all the things that we face in our life, all the hardship, adversity, and suffering, including surviving an accident or an event where somebody that we love passed away and we lived. And we're going to realize that all of this had happened for a reason. And when we start to awaken to this, okay, all of these things happen in our life to awaken us, to help us awaken to who we really are. And when we awaken to who we really are, a couple things are going to happen. First of all, we're going to connect with our higher self, okay? Because we're going to understand life in a totally different perspective. And that we're going to realize that we have this power within us, this Godhead, if you will, that is within us. And that we are worthy of being here in this life. We are worthy of life. We are worthy of love. We are worthy of being loved. And we are worthy of giving love. I mean, you are more worthy of being loved than you'll ever know. And that's going to be a whole other video. But you came here for a reason. So the spiritual warrior goes through all of these things. And he says, I can handle that. I know who I am. But we come into this world and we don't realize how powerful this 3D reality is, how powerful this materialistic world is, and how fun it can be too, right? So we get carried away and distracted, and we lose track of who we are. We lose track of what our purpose is or our mission is, our spiritual mission in life, the reason why we came here. So we need sometimes a little prodding or a little poking. And this comes through hardship, it comes through adversity, and it comes through suffering. Because when we go through suffering in our life, it's an opportunity for us to evolve our spirit and widen our heart, and for us to grow. So when we face these challenges in our life, it's not a time to be a victim or to cast out, be accusatory toward other people or blame them for what you're going through. It's a time to reflect and to go within and to discover who you really are. All right? To awaken to that beauty, to that love, and to that Godhead within you. You have so much power. You have so much ability. You have so much potential. You need to awaken to this. You're not a victim. You just haven't realized why this has happened in your life yet. It's time to get moving again. It's time to be grateful to be alive. Meditate. Ask your higher self for guidance. Why am I here? Why did this happen? What am I supposed to do with my life? Still your mind. So we go through these challenges, right? And then we go through these, the hardship, adversity, and suffering. And this is to again awaken to who we are, right? So once we're able to discover, like, wow, you know, she actually gave her life for me so that I can do something with my life, so that I can give back to other people, so that they don't have to suffer as much, right? So maybe something I will say today will resonate with you. Maybe it won't. But this is the definition of a spiritual warrior, right? We awaken to our purpose, to our mission in life, and then we give back to help other people. This fills the whole journey, right? This completes the journey. So this is what a spiritual warrior is. We know what we're going to go through in this life before we get here. We go through it despite knowing all of that, and then we awaken to the divinity within us, the power within us, and realize who we truly are. And when we do that, we're able to share with other people the experiences that we had that helped us evolve and grow. Those experiences that helped us evolve and grow into the person we are today. And for me, it makes it all worth it, right? So if I could share something with you and it would improve the quality of your life, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So I just want to say you're not a victim. You know, the victimizer, it's a construct, all right? Everything happens for a reason. Everything is perfect the way it is, right? Anyway, that's really all I got to say for now. Thanks for listening. It's Robert Crown.